No, West Virginia is only almost heaven. Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Oh, it starts.
Welcome to Friday Night Party Line. Tonight on the show, we've got Scojo. Hey, Scojo.
I didn't realize Good Place had Veronica Mars starring in it.
Who the
You
fuck
did
is
not
that?
know? We were talking about The Good Place in the pre-show, dear listeners. We also have George. Hey, George.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. And we got Churba. Hey, Churbs.
Hi.
Churba looking like he just got off of an NSYNC music video shoot.
Oh, come on. At least Savage Garden. Fun fact, from my city, and I painted one of their house. When I was much younger.
The more you know.
Yeah, one of them lived in like Logan, which is now known for being like basically just full of bogans and white trash. So
Wait, what's a bogan?
basically Australian white trash.
Oh, okay, good. All right. We got a lot of good topics to talk about on the show today, but before we get to that, yeah, we do. I think we do. Do you not agree? Or have you simply not been bothered to look?
I'll give you a hint. It's one of those.
It's one of those. But before we get to that stuff of East, it is important to thank the people what for make this show and the YouTube channel and the podcast such as they are. Chooch. With that in mind, in no particular order, thank you to Kate Macross, Rochelle Mantanona, the Geek Nights Podcast, Funeral Cleavage, Dexter Calder, George Davidson. Hey, George. Rin Senpai, Zara Gorgian, Brendan Brothers, Ethan Fryer, Pinup Citizen, Gina Moreno, and Yaddle for their generous contributions to the content creation cause. I feel like I should get extra points for that, for reading those backwards. So thank you to all of them, and to you, George, for kicking a little bit of money into the hat each month to help fund this channel and all of our regular expenses that come through for it. So thank you very much, and yeah, Churbs, care to lead us into the first topic?
Oh, I suppose I could. But I mean, like, you know, what even is a topic when you get right down to it? Oh, hang on, he's put it in the chat. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so you may have heard that that violent video games cause school shootings. Well, the White House agrees with you. Good news. The bad news is you're wrong and you're an idiot.
Wait, is this 1998? I feel like
You
we're back
think?
in 1998.
I have something to mention that will certainly make you reminiscent of 1998 again. Back when Penny Arcade was just a tiny fledgling little webcomic.
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
what?
Penny Arcade took on.
Oh,
one
Penny
people
Arcade. Okay,
who
yeah,
is
sorry.
peripherally involved, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Mm.
Because basically what happened is that Trump got a whole bunch of people in a room, most of them being like, you know, industry people. There were also some real fucking weirdos in there, like, say, what's his name? What the fuck was that guy's
Melissa
name again?
Henson, head of the Parents TV Council, who really is just about Hollywood being all too liberal.
Yeah.
Well, she at least makes sense, because she's in the Parents TV Council, so has some experience with, like, rating systems and things like that. Less sensible, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. I looked him up. His specialty is teaching military tactics to police officers.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, like, what's his purpose?
Right.
Oh, and there was one other chap whose name I can't remember who literally wrote a book called The Assassination Generation about how somehow video games have turned us all into a fucking group of insane hitmen.
Well, I mean, there's that whole video game series named Hitman. Clearly, it must be the case.
If
Well,
that
I mean-
were the case, why are so many people who oppose this still alive?
Well, it didn't say they were very good.
Well, maybe you're not. I mean, what? Can you not put a fucking round through someone's letterbox at 1,500 yards?
So, did you watch the supercut that they put in front?
God, I did,
Oh,
yes.
They
Just-
actually, the funniest
The
part
what?
to me was that they actually stole footage directly from Giant Bomb's YouTube channel of Dan Reichert playing. So once again, Dan fucking Reichert just screwing things up for fucking everybody. You
Ladies and
fucking
gentlemen.
popcorn trash eating motherfucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, American citizens, your tax dollars were put to work in making a really just arguably bad video. I'm so sorry.
For some reason, my brain just went, your tax dollars are responsible for Dan Reichert.
Well,
I don't know who Dan Reichert is, so
He's one of the Giant Bomb people. He's an odd duck. He's not a bad guy, actually. I mean, I'm fucking razzing on him a bit, but he's an
Yeah.
okay chap. And for some reason, Victor has a vinyl carving tool there.
oh no, I picked these up at these are chisel. This is a chisel set I picked up at Daiso Japan.
Huh. That will
Yeah.
never work as actual chisels, but they're great for carving lino prints and things like that.
But yeah, that's
You-
basically what I was gonna use them for.
If you use those like an actual chisel, you are going to drive that metal piece straight into the wooden body. Trust me, been
Yep.
there, done that.
Yeah, that's I recognize that, which is why I'm not gonna. We have Wealthy Aardvark and Jade Nance in the chat. We're talking about how somehow the political atmosphere we're back in the 1990s. We're it's just not. We're not in a great place right now.
Speaking of people and things from the 1990s
if we were
who
back
went
in the
away,
1990s, we'd have a budget surplus in Bill Clinton.
you know, I think
know,
I wouldn't mind a budget surplus in a Clinton in the White House.
we are pretty close to another giant sex scandal in the White House.
Well, we just have to make compromises. We'll take the next best thing to Bill Clinton, I guess.
Almost scandal in the White House. I can't actually remember how anything beyond the start of that song goes. Oh.
Trying
But I
to
think
figure
more
out-
troubling about
yeah.
this, in addition to it, is just how seemingly hostile, or rather how willing the administration is to be hostile towards video games. There was a quote in here. Let's see here. Trying to find that quote. Let's see. Where the hell is that quote? Lost it. Well, anyways, it seems that the White House is more than willing to go along with people who are basically saying that, yes, video games are evil. And that is a problem for the arts on the whole.
Yeah.
Ugh. Extra Credits did a good episode about this recently regarding a Hawaiian governor, trying to push through legislation in his state about controlling loot boxes in regulating loot boxes, and how going about it the wrong way could really hurt video games and art as a whole. I think this is kind of the same sort of situation.
Why would
I
you
hope
regulate
extra
loot
credit-
boxes.
Because there's a case to be made that the way some games implement loot boxes and things like that is essentially gambling.
No.
Yeah, George, kinda.
So,
You're
oh my
paying
god,
money
this is a
at a
completely
random
other...
chance of a positive outcome. That sounds like gambling to me.
Whoa,
Yeah.
okay, wait. Do we want to derail on this? Because I can talk about this topic a little bit, because so gambling on the boardwalk, right? In Atlantic City, it's legal, right? So they have like real gambling. But in Wildwood, what's taken over all the arcades are slot machines.
Dance Dance Revolution and Initial D?
No, unfortunately not. Are just slot machines where they put out tokens, which then you can use to get prizes up at the, just like you'd get out of like skee ball. And it's literally just gambling. But because they don't win money, it doesn't actually count. So I really am not sure how loot boxes would get covered by that in like a state like New Jersey, where they already have faux gambling legalized. So loot boxes should be the same as
that's like a step away from shady Yakuza pachinko parlors where you then take the prize to the small booth around the corner and they will exchange that prize for money, then take it straight back to the pachinko parlor and put it back on the prize shelf.
Yeah. I mean, the argument that a lot of people make to say that loot boxes aren't gambling is that you're able to put money in but not take money out. But the reason that part of the reason why gambling is so heavily regulated is because people's lives can literally be ruined through psychological tinkering. And that's a problem.
And yet, we're allowed to have guns.
Well, actually, no. George makes
to have guns.
You're allowed to.
George makes an important point, and it falls in the same area as like video games and violence, right? Are there some people out there that violent video games probably have a negative effect on? I'm sure there is, right? Because there's a lot of different mental state people out there, and I'm sure there's a subset of humanity that would be manipulated by a video game and be driven towards violent action, right?
And you probably also shouldn't put really violent video games in front of real small children because they're still developing, as people.
My daughter's going to be Hit Girl. What do you mean? I'm training her to be Hit Girl here.
Skojo, I think out of all the possible outcomes for your daughter's life, I don't think Hit Girl is the one you should be going after. Because remember, Hit Girl's dad is dead.
He lives a pretty good long time there.
Yeah, he outlives most superhero parents.
Yeah. He actually gets to the point where he trains his daughter to be a hero. But anyway, the point is so yeah, of course, there's also video games, right, that'll affect. And so gambling's the same way, right? There's a subset of people that will be affected by gambling in a negative way. So how do you control for the fact that some people get screwed by it and some people don't?
Well, what you do, and this is what Dan at Extra Credits was suggesting. He was saying that what you should do was what games should do is they should be like, all right, hey, look, by the way, you just spent $40. On loot boxes. Do you really want to go ahead and spend more? Put up like a little flag, a little warning, some way to break the cycle of a couple of sometime early last year. With barely even realizing it, I dropped like $40 on loot boxes in Overwatch.
How do you do that?
What do you mean, how do you do that?
Yeah, literally, I do not understand. How do you do that?
You click on the button in the game to buy loot boxes.
But why would you do that in the first place?
Because there was a skin I really wanted.
He really wants a skin! It's virtual currency. Hey, you know what? I mean, I play Marvel Puzzle Quest, and occasionally I will spend money on it because I've only probably played like thousands of hours of it. So occasionally I just want to give them a little bit of money for the free game I've been playing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, accidentally, one time I pushed a button, and because it uses my thumbprint, I automatically just sent it money, and I was like, damn it! But I'm not addicted, but there are definitely people out there that get addicted to that stuff. Should there be a limit on those people? Probably, because I mean but they're also the people funding the game, so it's more free for me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not like I even spent that $40 all in one chunk. It was like, oh, all right. I really want that skin. I'll spend $5 to get a bunch of loot boxes. Oh, well, it's $5 more. Well, I mean, if I spend $10 more, I'll get a whole bunch of them, and either I'm gonna get it or I'm gonna get enough, in-game currency that I'll be able to buy it, and then, bada bing, bada bam, bada boom, $40.
And
There is also the problem that Hawaii's loot box legislation was incredibly poorly written and implemented.
Yes, that too.
what? A law horribly.
A knee-jerk law being poorly written and badly implemented? Yeah, I know, knock me down with a feather. But it basically put all of the onus and all of the punishment on retailers instead of the people actually making the games, thus providing exactly zero incentive to change a single fucking thing. Literally the only positive thing in it was that it required drop tables to be published.
Yeah.
But the requirements for drop tables being published were very vague on how publicly they had to publish those. So expect drop tables buried like 4 links down in a fucking barely findable part of their site.
Not to mention that if a game is published in China, they automatically have to publish the drop tables.
Yeah, exactly. And most games are these days, so it's not like that's any extra problem for them. The loot tables are already out there.
Sure, but you know how I learned that?
Go on.
Aaron constantly posting about the drop tables for Love Live.
Yeah. It's a similar thing in Warframe. Everybody knows what the drop tables are like because Warframe had a Chinese version for a while.
Mm-hmm. So.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I mean, really, the hot take on this really is this is just trying to distract people from talking about guns. Because
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Where we talk about video games and violence, the less we're talking about the fact that the reason why people are dying is because they're being shot, not because they're playing a violent video game. Because
I mean,
you know what?
how many countless hours did we spend playing Unreal or Quake or Doom?
Well, no, it's like they make that joke in the show Future Man, where they're like they made a video game and they set it back in time to try to find the best person in the 2000s to like save Earth, right? Or save the future. And they're like, "Don't you guys use your video games for training?" And he's like, no, it's just a relaxing thing that we just do for spare time." They're like, uh-oh.
Wait, what's this Future Man?
Oh, you haven't heard of Future Man? Oh, you should watch that.
Oh.
But without derailing into Future Man, it's like video games don't like. I might play 500 hours of Counter-Strike. It doesn't mean I know how to shoot a gun. Like there's the skill in my Counter-Strike skill does not help me at all in reality.
Skojo, I will say that you probably know how to shoot a gun. It's just how to shoot a gun well.
I mean, let's face it, the firearm really is the original point-and-click interface.
Oh. Oh.
Well, I mean,
ouch.
in the loosest possible terms, sure.
Yeah, I think Rim, the UX designer of Legend, just like fucking woke up somewhere in New York in a cold sweat. He wasn't even asleep. He just fell asleep.
And then woke up.
Exactly. It was that was so bad that it put him to sleep just to wake him up in a cold sweat.
Sweat.
I think there is an argument, at least, like, if we're going to talk about violence in video games and shootings, there is an argument to be made for desensitizing people to going on killing sprees. I know there's no definitive link here, but like this just goes against everything that seems common sense to me. If you go through Grand Theft Auto and you kill a bunch of people, your brain is going to remember that. And it's going to make it more okay in your mind.
I don't think I have I mean, I played Grand Theft Auto, and killing hookers and throwing them over and running them over with the car has never been something that I've been like, you know what, that's now a legitimate thing to do because I saw it in Grand Theft Auto.
While there have been
not
studies,
for us.
while there have
will
been
say this.
studies on desensitization, as far as I know, they only seem to observe an effect of desensitization to seeing things, not to actually doing them themselves.
Yeah. And Skojo, what you're talking about is the Tetris effect. You know, going and looking. Like, personally, I've never looked at an empty car carrier the same again after playing Grand Theft Auto 3. Like, I just want to take my car and go whoop, up it like a ramp. But that means there's like Sherba said, there's a difference between desensitization between seeing something and doing something. Yeah.
But what if your brain has poor impulse control, and if you think it, you do it? Then you have other problems.
Well, then chances are your poor impulse control would have manifested in some other way by that point.
Yeah.
So.
To jump back about 10 minutes, though, remember how I said there is one thing that is surprisingly returning from the 90s in regards to this issue?
What?
Have one guess. It involves Penny Arcade in a roundabout way.
Dick Wolf?
No, and
Florida
Dick Wolf's
Turner.
was an awful idea, and they should actually feel quite ashamed about that. As far as I know, they do. So
Yeah.
What the hell was his name?
Jack Thompson.
Jack Thompson!
Oh,
Yes.
I thought he was
Who's
dead.
back?
Yeah, I thought he was dead too.
I thought Jack Thompson died.
No,
Jack is
unfortunately, he is back.
Again.
It's funny, I went to write Jack Thompson, I put Hack Johnson.
He's back.
Yes.
Oh, you're not wrong there.
Everyone's favorite disbarred Florida lawyer is doing his fucking damnedest to involve himself in this issue. But here's a small ray of sunshine in that fucking dark fart cloud.
Uh-huh.
Not even the Trump administration, who seemingly cannot see a barrel without trying to scrape the bottom of it, are taking any notice of him whatsoever.
Oh, jeez.
He actually emailed one Kotaku writer suggesting strongly he'd be at the meeting without outright saying it. He emailed another 4 times in a span of about 2 days, demanding the Kotaku writer call him. When the Kotaku writer did, he basically spent a minute or two heavily hinting that he would be present at this meeting, without ever actually directly saying he'd be at the meeting, and then hung up. Turns out he was not at the meeting.
You don't say.
He tried very hard to get an invite, apparently, but they were just like, who the fuck are you? You're just a disbarred lawyer. Fuck off. Nobody inside the White House wanted to, even bother checking up on this guy. Just being like, nah, fuck this guy. Get out of here.
The man saw the train of events and he said, "It's my time to shine." And everybody said, "No." All right. Let's see what else. Yes, big things have been happening in the world of big rigs. We got a couple of things. One of them involving your favorite company, Churba.
Oh boy.
Arnott's.
No. See, the company that is actually not your favorite company, but I'm saying ironically so.
Bluehole.
Yes. No.
The makers of
Tesla.
Extremely
Tesla.
Spiteful's Rifle Bible.
Tesla, my friend. Tesla. I'm speaking of Tesla Motors.
I thought he was dead. Didn't he die in 1920 something?
we lost.
I was trying not to laugh. I was trying to be the straight man, but no, that was just actually funny. All right. Yeah, so apparently there have been some pictures of Tesla semis going along their merry way in the Southland. Actually, no, not in the Southland. In the Nevada mountains. In the Nevada mountains, delivering apparently battery packs. Batteries from the Gigafactory in the Nevada mountains to a car factory in California. So the Tesla semis are in action, which is interesting. I think they look sleek as hell. You never think they're going to look like the production. You never think the production models are going to look cool, and then there they are.
Those aren't production models, honey. No.
Oh, come on. They're doing the
No, they're
trucking
not.
thing.
Barely. I mean, basically, we're being told that they're carrying a load of batteries. Okay, fair enough. I'll believe that. They do need to get batteries from place to place.
Sure.
But they're still just reskinned Freightliner Cascadias with a couple of existing drivetrains in them. And did you also catch the news of where they got caught on camera?
Let's see. On the i680. Yeah.
Yep, the i680, but where else?
Why
I
don't
don't
you
know.
just tell us?
What appears to
That-
be at a Gigafactory?
No, that would be at the Rockland Supercharger, both of them having to charge up for quite some time.
Ooh.
Which
That
is a
noise
bit
bueno.
weird because it's not actually that far in terms of trucking to get from, where they started to where they were going.
Yeah, 240 miles each way.
Yeah. Like, if
Now, wait a
my
minute, wasn't there-
very quick map estimate is correct, they were charging up roughly 130 miles from where they started, which is less than the range of a regular ass Tesla.
Yeah.
Well, I would also
Oh,
note
of
that
course
they're
it must.
also going like pretty intense incline for that trip as well.
Yeah,
You know,
but
rating.
it's mostly
maybe.
a-
But when your truck is has a maximum promise. When your truck can't talk tonight. When your truck has a promise range of 500 miles, towing 80,000 pounds, that is not a lot to be
Yeah, no, that's-
stopping at
that's-
180 miles in.
Well, this is why we balked at it when they originally at least Tribra and I balked at it when they originally says no, because you just do simple math. A regular Tesla doesn't have a range of
500 miles.
500 miles. They have a range of what 300.
About 350.
300. So, a car cruising on the highway uses somewhere round about 20 horsepower to maintain that speed.
Yeah.
A semi truck uses a lot more because it weighs a lot more.
Mhm.
That's why you use a diesel engine because it has a lot of horsepower at low RPM.
And it's also why you use massive gearboxes with like fucking 18 gears.
18 gears,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah,
half
it's-
gears. Ooh.
to try and get the maximum efficiency out of that tiny little. But all that aside, you can just do simple math and say, well, batteries haven't gotten significantly better. The truck's only X big, so it can't have more than maybe 4. Let's be generous here. Let's say it has 4 times the capacity of a Model S.
That'd
It is just-
definitely fit in the chassis of a Freightliner Cascade,
Yeah.
even making space for the motors.
Yeah, well, it's so you do the math. It's like 4 times that, but it's using 10 times as much energy to cruise, just because that's the reality of physics.
Trucking, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd also think, I mean, admittedly not being an expert on the physics of it, but I'd also think that they would use more energy to maintain speed than your equivalent diesel truck would spend energy to maintain that speed, simply because they don't really have gearboxes. They just pump power into the motors and the motors spin at a certain speed.
Well, no, because the whole point of a diesel, the whole point of all those gears in a gearbox is to maximize your energy output to your frictional losses of the engine. Spinning the engine at high RPM, just it eats energy.
Yeah.
The electric motor, which doesn't have piston rings and up and down motion, it just doesn't have that problem. So you can just use a big old one big final drive gear and just go, and it's fine. That's why Tesla doesn't do that. They don't need gearboxes because that's just part of electric motors. They're not a big deal.
Not as familiar with electric motors as I could be, so.
Yeah, but also the trip that they're on, when they're going the one way, right? It's all mostly downhill, and an electric engine would pretty much be just gaining charge back from the braking the entire
regenerative
trip down.
charging is what you're looking for.
So
they should be.
Basically,
but I think what they're doing is because the trips. I mean, it's 240 miles each way, and they still charge up at the one end. It's probably just so they don't actually have to, rescue a truck that doesn't make it for some reason or another while they're in the testing phase.
Yeah, I mean, look.
I'm thinking of another possibility. Let me just roll this one by you. The reason they had to charge up is because these are poorly constructed prototypes that have been completely built to prop up a spec sheet that is almost entirely composed of hope dreams and unicorn farts.
Well, I mean, you can speculate that, but we don't really know at this point, do
we? When Tesla originally came out with this whole electric car biz, it was all hopes, dreams, and unicorn farts. So if they're gonna promise the moon and then that's just their style, they promise the moon and then they find some way to do it.
Well, last time they kind of promised the asteroid belt and they didn't even get that.
Well, no, they did. They missed Mars. They hit the asteroid belt.
No, they didn't even make it to the asteroid belt. Their orbit is just completely cattywampus. It ain't going anywhere near the asteroid belt.
Oh, well.
Look, getting to Mars is really fucking hard. Like, no one but NASA properly appreciates how hard it is to get to Mars.
All right. Well, leaving Tesla aside for the moment, there's one more bit of semi, tractor trailer news. Waymo is kicking off its self-driving trucks.
Waymo.
And
why is that name so familiar?
Well, you're thinking Waze, I think?
Oh,
which
I
Google
remember. It's because Waymo are the people who were suing Uber for stealing all of their technology.
Yeah, that's it. That too.
Also,
they
Uber
got their
lost. Suck shit, Uber.
So Waymo has their self-driving trucks. They're hauling some gear for Google data centers, and they are on the road in let's see.
Arizona.
They've been conducting road tests in California and Arizona. Right now, they're hauling away in Georgia. So that's cool. That's cool. Also in this article here, about Starsky Robotics, which is doing a really cool thing: remote controlled trucks, which I saw being covered at an IT festival in Tokyo. There was a coverage of that coming out of an IT festival in Tokyo, which is, if it's the same company, which I think it is, they actually have a really interesting system, like complete with like a huge force feedback sort of system for the drivers and everything. So I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Waymo is saying that they're still ambitious towards developing a level 4 autonomy, but yeah, they think right now they think they're confident enough in their driverless minivans to take this safety driver out of the driver's seat. So I guess right now they still have a human driver in the trucks. So.
Yeah, and they use that for the city streets compared to the highway driving, which is where I would say that's probably that's coming really soon.
Yeah.
Because Why have somebody drive on the highway when you can have a computer do it?
Yeah. So, sorry, truck drivers, you're next.
Yeah. Those jobs
I
are over.
actually really doubt that.
Okay,
It's
so
gonna
who's
take
next?
a while.
Yeah, basically everyone in between now and the vague, fuzzy, indeterminate point in the future where self-driving will actually be practical at any sort of scale. Because
Yeah.
let me just clue you in real quick. That ain't gonna be soon. I mean,
There's a
like
plan.
maybe we can get Elon on the phone and he'll promise us in 6 to 12 months again, like he did last year and the year before that.
Well, he's got to say something to keep the investors investing other than saying, hey, we're going to sell you some flamethrowers. Although, don't get me wrong, those flamethrowers, well, if you want to call them a flamethrower, but those giant torches look really cool looking.
I'll make you one when I'm over in LA.
All right. Last
You like how-
topic.
Never mind.
What? What, George? What? What?
Just go.
What?
Go.
All I
Okay.
was going to say is, do you like how Tesla says their autopilot is awesome until someone crashes and then it's totally their fault?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Oh, of course.
It's just like,
Hey, trust
right.
your car and your life to our autopilot system. We'll keep you safe. Oh, but if you crash, it's always your fault.
Hey,
Stupid
why weren't you paying
humans!
attention?
Hey, wait a minute, guys. I work in IT. When a computer thing breaks, it's always the user's fault. It's never the system.
Yeah, but how many times have you gone and like changed a classification of black box data so that you don't necessarily have to give that over when something goes wrong? Like, have you ever reclassified your logs as a different kind of information so that nobody's going to go looking for them?
Churba, why would I even be able to answer that? If I did, why would I admit that on a video?
That's a question that cannot be answered by anyone.
Come
No,
on,
the
I would
correct-
never tell your employer who
No.
this company located at. No.
No, I have that.
J-Man says,
I
J-Man
just realized
says,
I do know who
insert,
your employer is.
The correct answer is, what are log files?
Yeah, what
What are
are
log files?
We don't
we-
make
Especially if you're-
logs.
Especially if
off
you're
the
using
logs.
Windows.
Yeah, they don't mean anything anyway.
Right. J-Bance in the chat says, insert CGP Gray's humans need not apply video here. Which,
Let's
video
not,
has problems.
because he is so wrong about literally everything. Because he is
Yeah.
was a fucking physics teacher who knows fuck all about anything outside of academia. Like, has he ever even been to a fucking manufacturing location?
I don't think he ever has.
My God.
No.
Like, I love the guy. He's an educator. He puts this stuff out into the world for free, and it's a really good thing. But Jesus Christ, man,
Stay in your lane.
You gotta recognize when you need to stay your fucking lane, son,
Yeah.
or at least stay your lane better than Tesla Autopilot seems to.
Oh. All right. Last topic of the evening, and this is just we can have a bit of a discussion. So what inspires brand loyalty in you guys? Is it price? Is it service? Is it how environmentally friendly the company is? What is
Good
it that
puns
gets
on
you
their
guys?
Twitter feed.
What?
Good puns on
yeah.
their Twitter feed.
Good puns on their Twitter feed.
Yeah, Wendy's has a strong Twitter presence.
Arby's has a good Twitter game too. They've been pumping out the anime references with their little cardboard cutout things.
Nah, man, Nihilist Arby's is where it's at.
Nihilist Arby's.
For me, one thing is things that are made in America. Not necessarily that there's anything wrong with things made overseas. I actually quite like things made in Japan or Germany, but mostly just
Germany.
being able to buy a thing that wasn't made by borderline, if not completely, slave labor.
Yeah, I like the made in America sort of idea too. You know, it's
a
good to
bit-
know
It's a
that
bit
there
racist, so tread lightly.
Yeah, no. It's good to know that you're buying a product that's made in a place that has labor laws.
Yes, that's the only reason I want to buy Made in America.
Wouldn't that technically be nationalistic and not necessarily racist? Being that anybody in America
because the motivation is ethical business practices. So, Also, although I do like the part of it for me is the hypothetical idea that at some point I could go on a factory tour. Which I would really love to do.
But yeah, it's not necessarily made in America. It's made in not slave
labor area.
Not slave labor area.
I should try and find that story actually, just to jump back a half a topic of a guy who went on the Tesla factory tour, who used to work in automotive manufacturing and got in a bunch of trouble because he kept asking questions.
Turns out making cars is hard.
Yeah! Oh, fuck. I just remembered that Elon Musk claimed that fucking Toyota's production systems were terrible and that they move slower than a granny with a walker. I'm like, motherfucker, you made 2,000 cars. They made 2,000 cars this hour that you are saying this.
Yeah, they make 2,000 cars an hour. Seriously, they do, don't they?
They do.
I'd actually say it's probably more. If you total up their production, so
they probably made 2,000 cars in North America.
Yeah, in probably one plant.
Yeah.
In fact,
in Kentucky.
There is a single plant of VWs, not Toyotas, but they still use TPS, in Europe somewhere, who put out 22,000 cars a year, which is more cars than I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk built this year.
Here,
That's one plant in one day.
I got you a assumed number. Toyota in 2014 made 3,270,000 cars. So that, if you divide that amongst production days, it came out to 13,400 cars per day.
Damn!
Yeah, I think...
Wow.
I think Volkswagen makes...
Wait, hold on. Divide that by hours? That's what?
No, that was by... Oh, yeah, I don't...
divide that by hours?
Yeah, but they might have double shifts. You never know. You could do it by 24.
Put 24. Assuming time zones,
Well, I don't think the factory's that big.
Yeah.
No.
No, here's the thing is car production lines don't stop. They run around the clock.
Are you using the calculator app to look?
I was assuming you were.
No, I don't care.
I'm looking at Twitter of this picture of two city planners who hate each other.
Okay.
So, brand loyalty, man. If I cared about, I'm trying to think of brands that I care about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I care about Steam, and it's because they were there.
Well, yeah.
I guess I care about Nintendo because they have quality games. So it really just comes down to whether it's quality or not. If it's quality and if it is either quality or it's cheap, then it has my loyalty. I'm not loyal.
Does nostalgia factor at all into your choice of companies?
Well, you know what? I do buy Fords generally, though I have a Chrysler Town & Country minivan, and it's because I grew up with Fords because my parents had Fords. So really,
for some reason, my brain just went. My parents were Fords.
Yeah, they were Fords. My parents are cars.
Yeah, my dad is an F-250.
We were built on the assembly line.
My mom's a Taurus.
Wait, I'm a Taurus.
Yeah, pretty much the only thing that things prevent me from buying more than encourage me to buy. If you suddenly have a whole bunch of labor issues, I'm going to be if your factories are burning down in some other country or in the U.S., I'm going to be
See, in a similar vein, for me, I will never get internet from AT&T if I can ever help it because all that NSA spying business that was going on in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Mm.
You mean like all of them now?
Well, with me, it's more a case of like you get two chances. If your product fucks up or your services fuck up real bad twice in a reasonably foreseeable way, or your product is low quality twice in a easily preventable way, you're gone.
Yeah.
So you still have a Windows operating system, right?
I've never had, apart from Windows ME, I've never had a problem with Windows.
No, I love Windows. I'm just saying, there's been some crappy versions. There's been more than one. There's more than one.
I don't understand why
yes.
people had such a problem with Windows Vista or Windows 8.
But
I don't know
didn't-
why people had a problem with Windows Vista. It was awesome.
But I didn't own any of those versions, so
True. You just skip those. Yeah, that works.
But there's things like, I'm struggling for an example that isn't Tesla because we've already talked too much about them. Come on, brain.
What's that thing? The thing that has the special holder. Chico Roll. Chico Roll.
Chico rolls have never gone wrong. What is wrong with you? Chico rolls are always perfect. Get fucked. No, I was thinking of Telstra, was what I was trying to think of.
Telstra.
Yes.
The bane of Australians who wish to use internet.
Like, for example, I have Telstra internet right now. It is what I'm talking to you over, because there's no other option at this fucking house.
So you are very loyal to them.
But my phone,
He's not
however,
loyal. He's being held hostage.
Well, it's true. Enforced loyalty.
because basically they are legally required to share some infrastructure with other companies, but they're not legally required to share all of it. And so basically the only other options I can get at this house for internet are all like incredibly garbage, like ADSL2 fucking
Blech.
shit down the phone line.
That's gross.
Ick.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's real bad. So how about nah? But my mobile phone / cell phone, if you are wrong. But that, no, not on Telstra anymore. Switched over to another provider because they fucked my phone up once, took it in for repairs. The second one was fucking bad because basically they gave me a faulty phone that they said was refurbished. So that was their first chance. Second chance, took that one back.
Not
The
being
one I got
screwed.
back was also broken. So, nah, fucking gone. Not with Telstra anymore. Well, except I still have the broken phone because I can't afford to buy a new one. I literally have to keep it on airplane mode so that it doesn't overheat and just fucking explode. Yeah, because it spends all its time searching for towers because it can't get reception even though I literally live within sight of a fucking tower. I can look out my window and see a fucking tower. Don't tell me there's no fucking reception here. I'm receiving it with my fucking eyeballs.
I mean, it's hard to say. Like every product, any it depends on the product whether the brand would be able to get loyalty or not from you or not.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a hard question. It's too broad.
All right,
Too
so
broad.
let's go through.
Too broad, Victor.
Let's go through some products and services, then, shall we? Do you guys care what brand milk you pick up?
No,
No.
I no care.
Neither
As
do
long
I.
as it comes from a cow and those cows are treated reasonably nicely.
Yeah, this is a
Well,
good cow, good little moo cow.
I do like the Horizon organic milk because it tastes good.
I drink
Okay.
almond milk, so
But that,
Well,
that
I
is
like
mostly
almond.
the...
Well,
I
as long
drink-
as they're
I
not
drink
factory farming
Lactaid
those
and-
almonds.
I drink Lactaid and regular whole milk. I don't really care.
It's just this one tiny almond in a really small cage.
Good.
yeah, I guess I don't have to worry too much. I'm just dehydrate. I'm just causing dehydration. Yeah, I'm just causing.
Yeah, you're basically
arid
just causing drought in
drought.
California.
Yeah, drought in California. Yeah. you
Yeah,
know.
thanks, Gojo.
It's cool. You're welcome, Victor.
Hey,
I'm also
man.
providing money to your people.
You may be dehydrating California. At least you did, but at least you didn't send them trees that can combust by themselves.
Explode and catch fire.
And best of all, they can do it at completely survivable summer temperatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out eucalyptol can actually spontaneously combust at like fucking just above room temperature. Like,
How come we're
think
not
it's something like
harnessing that for
47 to-
fuel?
I think it's something like 47 to 49 degrees Celsius.
Where are the hippies using that in their engines instead of fried oil?
Well, they were out hugging the trees, but bad news.
So, I mean, you should pick something like shampoo or something. Or something,
All right, fine.
where-
shampoo, since you bring it up.
No, I
I-
only demand real organic poo.
Real poo, not the sham stuff.
I just buy whatever's on sale. I don't really. I
get-
have no brand loyalty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have brand loyalty, but when I'm not using dollar store shampoo, which is perfectly fine shampoo, every few months or so when I go get my hair cut, I'll pick up a little bottle of the tea tree mint shampoo,
Oh.
and it just makes my hair feel all effervescent, which is an odd thing for hair to feel, but it's actually delightful.
And you feel minty fresh.
I literally feel minty fresh. I don't feel like I've had something that makes an aspect of my body minty fresh, like a breath mint or something. I feel like I am minty fresh.
I don't use shampoo.
Oh, I can't imagine. Why is
Gee,
that?
I don't
Why is
know.
that, George?
Wow, George, you would how
Not
can
even
you get
just
along
for the
without it?
nostalgia.
I don't even actually shower on a regular basis anymore. I shower like once a week.
Wow, ew. Sorry, George, that's kind of you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm not down with that.
Oh no.
I don't shower in the morning. I don't actually wake up. That's how I wake up.
I
in the morning.
have the driest skin in the world. Showering every day.
Funny
does
thing
not
about
help.
that, George, if you completely surround yourself with sprays of water, or at least from the top down, you might be less dry.
Oh wait, you
No,
live
that's-
somewhere where it's quite cold, don't you, George?
I mean,
What's the
it's
name of your
cold.
freezing shithole again? Why do you live in a place where the air hurts?
Because I don't have to deal with spiders that are the size of my face.
Hey, Churba. Temperate climate, high five. Hey.
Dude, you know what?
Hey.
My climate doesn't burn down, and I have no
Yeah.
problem with
Fire.
water.
Fire.
I can
Water is
fix-
always available.
I can fix both of these problems.
Yeah.
We don't have poisonous animals. We don't.
I can fix that like with a post bag.
The most we have to worry about is occasionally we get a day off of work because it snows too much, and you just hang out inside and play video games all day if you still have power. If not, then
you make
Hey,
French
Scojo.
toast.
Hey,
That's what
Scojo.
you do.
Scojo, guess how many times I had to shovel a walkway in the last 10 years?
That's
And
my
we
upper
get a-
body day. I actually I actually enjoy.
We get a day off for a horse race. So
Yeah, you get a sausage when you vote. I know, but then you have to
Yeah,
worry
yeah.
about that. There's like a horrific spider underneath the sausage about to eat you. Like,
oh no, I meant a literal horse race, like big things with four legs. Not a metaphorical horse race.
yeah. No, I understand. I don't understand why you get a day off for that, but
Actually, fucking Melbourne Cup Day is the worst. I used to like Melbourne Cup Day. Now I really don't like Melbourne Cup Day. You know why?
Because everything you want to go to is closed?
No, because it's close enough to PAX that it makes finding accommodation a fucking pain in the ass.
No.
oh, I would
'Cause-
also like to just point out something in the chat. They just said you also live in an area with exploding trees, Victor.
Well, they
Keeps you
don't
on your toes.
explode often, and I think that counts.
Wait, they don't?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. No,
I'm a
no.
little bit
See,
disappointed.
no. See, what they do is they just exasperate the fires we get. That's the thing. Yeah. But now they've been burned down, so
Don't worry, they literally evolved for that.
They do
I
come
know
back.
there are fire is a part of the natural life cycle of a lot of the vegetation around here.
Yeah,
But not
like
your
same,
lifestyle.
well, yeah, but I'm not on fire, so not a fucking problem, mate.
Yeah, I'm
I've
not on
spent-
fire either, and that's okay too.
Spent many years of my life not being on fire.
I've spent most of my life not being on fire. Not all. I've been on fire a good amount of my life, but not most.
Like, actually, yeah, come to think, I do have quite a number of spots that look like freckles, but are actually just from welding in, like, shorts with no shirt, no shoes, and just, like, a welding helmet. So,
I've set myself on fire more times than I'd care to admit.
though,
A lot
to
of admissions today.
be fair, I did
We're learning a lot
stop
about
wearing-
each other today. George doesn't shower. Churba and I are attracted to fire for some reason. Or rather, fire is attracted to us.
Actually,
things
Vic,
going on.
you should ask Akasha sometime about the time that I was on the phone to her when I was in England. And we're just chattering away, and, as we often do. Well, I went a bit Scottish there for a second, but anyway. But I actually had to call off for a little bit because apparently, to quote me, "Oh, sorry, love, gotta go. I've set the living room on fire."
J-Ben says, so that's why Churba doesn't have a beard this week. It got burned off. Good to know.
No, no, it didn't get burned off. I mean, come on, do you think fire would actually, like, manage to burn my hairs? No.
I like to keep my fire free range and domesticated. That's why I don't have a fire pit.
Is that like a bear pit for fires?
How is it free
Yeah, kinda.
range and domesticated?
Well, it's all about setting boundaries, George.
It's so well trained that it can just roam where it pleases.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let it on the furniture.
Is the fire gluten
There's
free?
there is a picture of me sitting on a couch that is on fucking fire.
Is the fire gluten free?
No.
No.
There's also a picture of that same couch, like, outside, burnt to the fucking ground. Because
I'm not
we realized
seeing
that
a
we-
lot of
Fire
these
intolerance,
pictures.
I can't be on fire.
I'll be honest.
Causes me
J
to
Bance is
burn.
posting some tweets and stuff in the chat, and I'm not seeing it like a lot of these pictures.
Yeah, they're not working.
Yeah, I think the link truncation is actually breaking them.
Probably. All right then. Well, we had a good show today, I think. So
that link
with-
truncation is fucking it up completely.
yeah, it's not working. Take off the blah 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 blah. Says. So, with that in mind, it's a good time as always. Before we close out the show, Jay Bance has now decided to send me the links through Google Hangouts. What do we got in here? I don't know why I turned into a newscaster. Jay Bance has sent me the links through Google Hangouts. Let's see. Now, the Disney Marvel thing. Yeah. Disney Marvel getting the cereal mascots into the Kingdom Hearts. Anyways, now's a good time as any to thank our Patreon supporters. Yes, the Patreon supporters who kick in a little bit of money each month. What for helping this channel chooch. The little bit of money you guys contribute, that includes you, George. Thanks, George. Helps to support the channel and provide a little bit of money to cover the regular expenses, such as Adobe Creative Cloud, Backblaze, which is for backup, and a couple of other little small things. So, with that in mind, thank you to Kate Macross, Rochelle Mantanona, Geek Nights Podcast, Funeral Cleavage, Dexter Colda, George Davison, Rin Senpai, Zara Gorgian, Brendan Brothers, Ethan Fryer, Pinham Citizen, Gina Moreno, and Yaddle for their generous contributions each month. What for helping this channel chooch.
You know, Victor, your brand is quality, and I'm loyal
Thank you.
to it.
Thank you, Scojo. Thank you very much. So with that, thank you, Scott, George, and Churba for yet another wonderful episode of Friday Night Party Line. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.